They're glazed over, dilated pupils, it looks like. Came right down on the side of his head in an awkward position, and I'd be hopeful it's not something to do with his neck either. He goes up high and he just tips over. I don't know that he gets pulled. Look at that. Oh, the crowd here just groaning.
Just the head hitting the ground as he falls there.
Oh.
And coming down heavily on his right shoulder as well. And could have done with a bit more assistance in the cushioning of that fall from teammates. But a savage blow there for the Wallaby team and David Giffen.
We definitely hope that David Giffen is okay. But I must say this, that's one golf cart you wouldn't want to be on, is it?
Absolutely.
So the operation overseen by Dr. Martin Raftery, the Wallaby doctor. And now we resume.
Oh, tight head to the Wallabies. Fantastic strike by Brendan Cannon.
David Lyons for Gregan and Larkham. Flatley's outside. He was cut out. And Matthew Burke on his left foot. This is Corletto inside his 22. Burke again. Larkham outside. Sailors herring back to support. Larkham's going to look for territory. And he'll be happy with that one. 10-metre line, Argentina's territory. Australia 14-3.
Stephen Larkham, you can see he's passed 13 times and run 3. He's been the attacking genius tonight for the Wallabies. But they need, as you said, Dan Crowley, to put their foot on the pedal. They need to pick the pace of this game up. They can't play to the same pace that the Argentinian side is at the moment.
At the start of the game, we spoke about giving the ball to someone else to kick because Larkham wasn't getting much purchase. It wasn't too bad that time, but he's about the only one I'd play forcing backs against.
Fernandez Lobe at the front.
Referee said it was okay, but that was as crooked as some of the others.
So Argentina has possession, some rare possession from a line-out. Rogers wants it. Sailor supported. Space. Ankle tap by Pichot. Here's Larkham. Overlap Australia. Too slow through the hands. Kontapomi now. Smith there first. Superb skill. And Gregan. What a recovery there by the Australians and their skipper.
Just what they needed, the Wallabies. It broke down with the tackle on Elton Flatley, but well covered.
Both teams showing incredible skills. Sailor and Rogers working brilliantly this breakout. But look at the charge down from the Pumas. They're really forcing and pressuring. Flatley gets caught. Look at this.
Long go at the back. So Argentina, again, pinned in their half. Difficult pass there for Kontapomi. He saw space, and that's a hefty reply. Rogers and Sailor. Wendell's going to have a crack. He's beaten 2. Well, he's beaten the first tackle every time. Here's Roth now. And that one coming off the side of his boots. So a let-off there for Argentina and a chance to get the line out here just 35 metres out from the Wallaby goal line.
He wouldn't be happy with that kick, Joe Roth, as we see Wendell Sailor again beating the first 2 tackles, holding the ball in 2 hands, which is so important, and then trying to get an offload towards the end.
Missed tackles costing Argentina. 22 so far to Australia's 3. And these lineouts. Get it straight. Nathan Sharp, I think, is pilfered.
Nathan Sharp over Albacete. It was physical, brute strength winning through.
Ledesma, he's having an absolute shocker trying to throw that ball in at the moment. How long is it going to be before we see the Shepherd's hook?
Marcelo Lafreda has got to get Federico Mendes on the field. He's not the noted thrower, but he's got to be able to do a little better than this.
There's word from the dressing room down there, the Wallaby dressing room, that David Giffen is badly concussed, so for his family at home watching or here tonight, he should be okay.
Here's Rogers, and that certainly is very encouraging news for David Giffen. Corletto getting through Rogers' tackle. Pichot, ever elusive. 12 from halfway. Argentina's had no continuity at all in this game. And Contepomi with that cultured right boot. Here's Joe Roth. He saw the open space. Corletto did a nice little pirouette. And it's a game of forcings back at the moment.
Australia have done so well carrying the ball up, and all of a sudden have reverted to a little kick and back game.
Albanese, lovely step. Sandwich, Cannon underneath. Elton flatly over the top. And now Albacete.
Oh, great work by Cannon. Tackle and rip. Oh, that's harsh work on Cannon there. He's actually, as he's gone into tackle, he's actually ripped the ball one-on-one, but unfortunately he didn't have the momentum of his players over the top. Got pinned on their side and the referees penalised him.
It was a good counter-attack by Argentina. They want to run the ball. They don't want to kick the ball back to Australia now. They want to keep the ball in hand, and Contepomi is the one that has to play those plays.
And Tim, why do you think the Wallabies have chosen to start kicking the ball back?
I don't know. It looks very, just from the sideline here, they look very tentative, and they're staying inside their 22 when they've got about 20 or 30 metres to run back at the Argentinians. They need to start chancing their arm a little bit before this game gets away.
Well, they need to work on their discipline also at the ruck and maul as Martin with a head of steam into Larkham. Now Argentina needing quick ball. Grau. Pichot working to Hassan.
Limited options. The Pumas need to be more creative.
Good work by Bill Young. Drop goals on. Contepomi. How is it? Sailing to the left.
Well, that just showed the lack of options there, didn't it? They've gone back for the last resort in trying to do the drop goal.
Got to have more composure than that. You've got to be able to last longer than that in phases if you're to really fight at this top level.
I think Contepomi knows it too. He knows it was the wrong option, but he needs players outside of him to call.
Flatly then to Nunez, Piosek and Corletto. Another huge punt kick. Rogers underneath. Sailors calling for it here. Rogers says, let's go. Gregan, Larkham and Sailor. Again, he beats the first tackle.
He had Matt Burke outside of him, unmarked. Maybe should have passed, but the play is still on with George Smith going on the inside.
Look at the pass from Smith to Young. Ross with him. Big Joe Roth.
He's called it forward.
Forward pass.
He had so much time. He had 5 options. He just couldn't pick the one to give it to.
And then he went one step too many onto the wrong foot and had to pass across the top of it. Something simple that Phil Waugh would have done 1,000 times as a schoolboy. Wendell Sailor probably should have moved the ball on earlier to get the width, but it still wasn't over. And this, the breakout. Look here, Bill Young, last pass.
Well, it's the action of the hands in the pass. The motion of the hands has to be backwards.
Young running like a back rower there. The locks and the flowing. Great work, but just let him down at the end.
I think Joe Roth was in reverse there trying to keep up with him.
Well, as he sprinted away, I thought it was Phil Waugh, you know, like he's just jumped on the ball.
But quite seriously now, the Wallabies, someone has to take this game by the scruff of the neck. Someone has to. Matt Rogers is trying to do something, so is Wendell Sailor, but they need to start converting these opportunities.
Tim, it's Lyons that's got to step up again. He's gone a bit quiet early. So effective in the first half.
Long goes straight into Phil Waugh, 22-metre line. Argentina just battling to get out of their territory at the moment. And the Wallabies wanting to go up a couple of gears here and take a stranglehold on this game.
From this set piece, Australia have got to devise a plan to get the ball forward. Get some momentum going forward. Every time Larkham has got that ball and he's running when he receives it, he's carving up this back line. He's got to start getting it on the fly. Australia, 10 handling errors. That's very uncharacteristic of them.
Here we see Australia's short line out once again with David Lyons standing very wide with Phil Waugh close.
Here's Gregan. Larkham and Sailor. He's elusive.
And strong.
Pichot again felled him. That's Nathan Sharp and Gregan now for Larkham and Flatley. His Lions, 22-metre line. Australia 14-3. Now Matthew Burke. Just caught by Martin. Defence disorganised here for Cannon. Martin.
Well done, Brendan Cannon, going back towards his forward pack.
Gregan and Larkham. Sharp's out wide, and so too on the inside is David Lyons.
Fabulous defence from Argentina.
Gregan goes himself. And he realised there that Paul Honus was playing advantage. But certainly a try on for Australia. Instead, it looks like 3 points.
Hassan didn't roll away from the ball, but Australia needed to get more points out of that. And George Gregan taking the 3 points. Probably a good decision.
So Australia ahead by 14-3, penalty kick to come.
Finally, phases by the Wallabies. Getting them into space, but they still can't break through. Missed tackles by Argentina, and Argentina didn't miss that tackle. They smashed Lyons as he punched through the gap. That was really dangerous.
Flatley looking for his 4th penalty goal. He could just about blow this one over. So, another significant 3-pointer for the Wallabies, who are out to a 14-point lead. So nearly 12 minutes gone in the second half. Dan Vickerman. Argentina just losing a bit of contact with the Wallabies on the scoreboard. And a try here for Australia.
Australia
really
going,
consolidate.
Australia going straight back at the heart of the Argentinians, giving them something that they are proud of themselves.
Here's Flatley. Rogers. Rock. And Burke is here. And Saylor. Saylor went without it. That's a critical turnover by the Wallabies, just when they wanted to press home the advantage. Albanese with a big step. Gregan wraps him up.
No advantage. Lost forward.
That was better depth from the Wallaby backline. We saw Matty Rogers coming in at depth, and the Argentinian backline were moving up man on man. But Australia can't keep turning over the ball like they are. Matty Rogers in full flight back inside to Wendell Saylor. But once again, just that ball security.
That's the time how we see the Wallabies playing, using Rogers and Roff going wide and Saylor punching holes in the middle.
So it's Australia ahead of Argentina by 17-3, but they've scored just the 1 try. It's the boot of Elton Flatley with 4 penalties. 17-3. So no substitutes off the bench yet for just the one enforced replacement. And that was Dan Vickerman on for David Giffen.
And look at that massive fly half possessions, passing 18 times. Just nearly double the Argentinian first receiver statistics.
Well, Stephen Larkham's looked very sharp at number 10 tonight, showing glimpses of his vintage best. Longo to Pichot and Martin. They love to work the short side from the scrum. They're up to halfway. And that was Albacete. Contepomi just hugging the touchline, needing the bounce here. And it doesn't get much better from an acute angle for Felipe Contepomi.
I think Contepomi starts to realise they need to play it in the Wallaby half, because his forwards are starting to tire, so he needs to keep the ball in front of them.
Well, if you're going to kick, that is a cracker. just into that territory. That's the pressure zone. Right on the 5 metre. Everything will be going on. Australia without their line-out general, David Giffen, off with concussion. A bit more pressure comes on them. They'll work it out again.
So there's Nathan Sharp, who's been prolific in the line-out.